This episode is brought to you by Seventh Generation. In New York, climate pollution is not only dangerous, it's expensive. In fact, it's costing the state $27.5 billion annually. But what if, instead of neglecting communities, we invested in them? With better infrastructure, a more stable energy grid, a future-facing, well-trained labor force, and support for low to moderate income households. Tell Albany, invest $15 billion in New York's future. Now's the time. To find out more, visit seventhgeneration.com/climate.
Empire. Signing day is getting modernized.
You've got too many people out there that simply prey on families, and they've got a couple email addresses at a university or a college, or they know one guy, and they want to charge an outrageous fee to get them on an email list.
That's John Dorsey, CEO of Signing Day Sports, an app-based recruiting platform that connects lesser-known talent to athletic opportunity across the country. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein. The internet and the technology around showcasing talent has changed so dramatically that avenues for recruitment to collegiate programs has been altered. Coaches who want to meet you, connect with you, see you on tape, they can all do that. And the team at Signing Day Sports is democratizing the entire process. Our guests this week are John Dorsey, who's the CEO, and Andrew Lampe, who's the CTO of Signing Day Sports, which is an app-based recruiting platform that's revolutionizing college sports recruiting. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, Bram, for having us.
John, let me start with you here. We just had signing day in football, at least. And in 2022, there's a lot that has changed. So what's it like finding a collegiate career in the modern collegiate athletic space?
So the goal of Signing Day Sports is really to disrupt the current model, what's happening in the recruiting space. Right now, you've got people searching for kids all over the country, and it's really like throwing a quarter into the ocean right now, trying to be recognized if you're on the player side. And on the coach's side, we're really trying to streamline that process where they can easily locate, evaluate, and contact a kid pretty much anywhere in the world that might fit into their program. So what we're trying to do is really, again, disrupt the way that it's happening and make it a centralized platform where everybody can come and find each other at a very affordable cost.
All right, so pull the curtain up a little bit. How do people recruit, and what is different about what you're providing here?
So right now you've got kids that are found in camps and combines, which a lot of those are highly recruitable athletes, right? They may have the means or the college or the high school program backing where they're easy to be found. But there's kids all over the country that want to continue to play. They may be in Anchorage or Montana or North Dakota or even in a big urban city like Houston, but their program may not be the top tier program. I can speak for myself and numerous people inside of our organization that why we were attracted to come to signing day was we could identify with the challenges of being found as an athlete. If you're not playing for one of the top tier programs, or your college or your high school coach may not be connected to some of the college networks, it is really difficult to get on their radar and be found as an athlete. And what we're trying to do is level the play. So if you have the heart, the desire, the passion, and the ability to play at the next level, what we're promising kids is we're not going to tell you can play. Your resume is going to tell you whether or not you can play. What we're guaranteeing is we're going to get eyes on you from all over the country, whether it's Division I all the way on down to NAIA. We're going to ensure that somebody is watching you and determining whether or not you can play for the program.
All right, Andrew, take me through the technology a little bit here. Give me a sense of what the platform does.
Yeah, so when we were designing this, we took into account three sort of major stakeholders in our ecosystem, right? So you have the parents and the players as one, you have the high school coaches as number two, and then you have the college recruiters as number three. So we really wanted to build an application on the parents and player side that was easy to use. It was highly transparent in the kinds of information that a college recruiter would need to see on a kid. So there's no more guessing. So obviously everybody gets their height, weight, wingspan, hand size, but then, your 40, your bench press, your back squat, all these different kinds of things that kids may not know or parents may not know that college recruiters really need to see and evaluate as well on top of your regular stuff. And then also we introduced a really cool feature that we have sort of patented, pending at the moment, called Pro Day videos. And these Pro Day videos allow a kid to do specific drills based upon their position. So a wide receiver would receive a set of drills versus, say, a quarterback or offensive lineman. And then you would see them sort of go through these drills, and they're highly scripted. So the reason behind that is so a college recruiter can see a kid virtually maybe do something that he would needed to have traveled to a field in the past to see a kid do. So that's very cool. And then the third piece of that parent player app is the interview questions. So we ask 5 interview questions that a kid will have to read a question, and then he has to respond to that question. The cool thing about that is all answers are final. So you really get a good sense of a kid's mental awareness, acuity there. And so a college recruiter can really see, that side, not just the physical, but the cerebral, as we like to sort of call it. So it's a very cool feature that we bring all 3 of those features together, and a college recruiter is going to be able to really get a good look virtually at a kid. The second tier that we talked about was with the high school coaches. And traditionally, they have been left out in the cold in participating in college or in the recruiting process. And so we built a set of tools specifically for the high school coach to manage their team, communicate with their team, build prospect lists of kids that, college recruiters may want to see, have a virtual weight room so they can track kids' progress on their team. So all these different really neat tools that a high school coach has never really had access to, or at least had access to on one platform before. So we've got a lot of traction with high school coaches that have just really enjoyed that we thought about them throughout this entire process. We developed a suite of tools that allow them to manage this whole process, and then being able to manage the communication process from a college recruiter all the way down to a kid. So that's all self-contained inside of our app as well. And then the third piece, obviously, college recruiter side. It's essentially, you're searching a database of kids, right? So you have specific needs for your program. When needs are coming up. So we offer the college recruiter to essentially build a search, get results back. And then the really cool thing is about this search results is maybe you can find 100 kids and you want to start analyzing and reviewing them. For the first time, and this is going back to that patent pending tech that we have for the Pro Day videos, is you can match a kid up side by side with another kid doing the exact same drill. So say you have 2 wide receivers, one kid's in LA, the other kid's in Miami, Florida, and you have them doing the exact same drill, filmed in the exact same manner. And now you can control the video player, and you can see a kid's launch. You can see a kid's, aggressiveness off of maybe a slant or something like that. So it's really cool. So we're really starting to see this interesting side-by-side comparison for the first time again ever. Kids across the country, and you can imagine across the world as we continue to grow this thing out, competing side-by-side with each other virtually, which is really neat. And so college recruiters have just loved this feature. And that's one of the really great things that we can show, and it's really been a highly regarded piece of our application. And the kids love it too, right? Because they get to see potentially how they get matched up with other kids across the country. So it's really neat. And, I think we've built a pretty cool tool that meets the demands and the needs. And again, to John's point, we're just driving efficiency, right? We want the college recruiter to be as efficient as humanly possible in regards to communication, in regards to dealing with the high school coach, in regards to talking to the parents and the players. All of the messaging is self-contained inside of signing day sports. As you can imagine, from a compliance standpoint, that's pretty powerful. The college recruiter is not having to go to YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and whatever to look up all this information about a kid when they can get it all inside of signing day. So it's, again, driving those efficiencies, helping the college recruiters be better at their job. And then when the time does come to go see a kid in person, they're not just seeing 100 kids on a football field at a combine or something like that. They're seeing, 5 or 6 kids now, and they're able to spend that much more quality time because they've done the work inside of signing day to get to those moments.
Let me talk about let me ask you about the video again. So we're taping this. The NFL Combine is happening this week. All of that is in a controlled environment. So all the drills are being done. They're being monitored. They're being set up in a specific way. That's completely impossible, obviously, with what you're doing here with all these kids in all these different places. So how do you try to ensure some level of uniformity when people are going to be compared to one another?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we have very specific guidelines in terms of our tutorials that we have for these pro day videos. So when a kid is filming a pro day video, here's the kind of environment that you need to be in. Here's where the camera needs to be. Here's where the individual performing the drill needs to be. And going across the motions of, camera angle, in a cone scenario that you can really get to see. Now, is it going to be perfect every single time? Of course not. You have to take that into consideration. But we try to provide as many tools as possible while the filming of each drill to be consistent. And the drills can be updated. So if a kid feels like, again, he missed the boat, or maybe he got better at the drill 2 months later, he can go back out and refilm that drill. So he maybe, feels better about his skill set there too. So, but in terms of actually field quality and things like that, I mean, you sort of have to take those things into consideration. And I think college recruiters were kind of already doing that, going out to different camps, different combines, different weather environments, things like that. So I think that just sort of all goes into the process of how a college recruiter would evaluate a kid, and especially if they're doing side by side. Yeah, I think the environment is a big component of that, but you still get to see the explosiveness and some of the other things that you would really need to see in a kid. That you can't really hide that through environmental aspects or sort of inconsistent, maybe filming environments or something like that.
And we do have some of those camps and combines that we host across the country. But like Andrew said, a lot of these colleges, they'll have prospect lists of 5, 7, 10,000 kids on that prospect list. They cannot evaluate them all in time to get an offer out to each of them or go visit all of them. What it simply does is just streamline that process and help them identify, okay, let's whittle that list down to 1,000 or 2,000 kids, and then go from there and involve my staff and who we really want to go out and meet personally, at their homes.
Guys, if you're looking for that extra confidence when it's time to have a little bit of fun, let me tell you about BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service. It delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it comes in chewable form, and it's at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets will help you combat all forms of ED. Plus, it's an online prescription service. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is really simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and the best part, all done online. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers are going to work with you to find the right ingredient and the strength for your personal subscription. Plus, their tablets are made in the United States. They prepare, they ship direct, and it's so much cheaper than going through a pharmacy. And here's a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code FUTURE, F-U-T-R, at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code FUTURE, F-U-T-R, to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for being a sponsor of this show. John, when you think about what this platform is, you're talking about 3 very different sets of users, mainly with the same outcomes, but obviously different motivations to get to those outcomes, and wide range of age groups. So in terms of how you want this thing to be envisioned to be used, is this LinkedIn? Is it TikTok? Is it YouTube? What is your platform?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. On the kid side, we compare ourselves to a LinkedIn model, right? The kid's got his resume, his background, his interview questions, just everything to get to know the kid one-on-one. I look at it as his resume on LinkedIn. On the coach's side, the platform's very similar to a Zillow, where the coaches can really, hone in what physical characteristics am I looking for this position? Does he need to be 6'2"? Does he need to be right-handed? Does he need to weigh this? Does he need to have this hand size? And then just kind of drill down for their specific needs and narrow it down to, 10, 20 kids. And then maybe from there, they take it and they watch some video on the kid answering questions, the interview questions, same questions that coach or recruiting coordinator would be asking them in front of their mom and dad sitting on their couch. Let them get to know them personally, in advance of actually going to their home. So it's not the end all cure all, but it is at least streamlining the process. Let them pick their top 5 or 10. And as Andrew said, go to the video, compare this kid in Northern California to this kid in South Carolina. How do they compare against each other so they can really hone in on who they want to spend the money and go visit.
Andrew, is there functionality that this is a social network in any level for the kids who are involved in this?
Well, not at the moment. No, we're very much a data platform, right? A data exchange. So kids and parents provide the necessary information that a college recruiter would want to see, and then a college recruiter on the other side of that does the lookup of what they need and what they have needs for. And that data exchange moment, it's, in a sense, you could think of it like John mentioned, a LinkedIn or a job board or something along those lines, for lack of a better, moniker for it. But in terms of a social networking side, it's just, social networks are really good at doing that. We just want to be that platform that is the begin all end all of recruiting information about an athlete and how that kid can get perhaps seen by as many eyeballs as humanly possible. So,
and we have tools, Bram, to allow that kid to promote themselves onto those social media platforms.
Yeah.
But it links back to, like I said, like their resume.
So in the end, you have to incentivize them to be part of this. How do you guys think through that? Because you obviously can't promise them they're going to end up with a scholarship anywhere. So how do you kind of incentivize the kids themselves to want to take part in all of the things that you're talking about getting up on this platform to make them more attractive to colleges?
But we all think our kid's the next Tom Brady or can play at the next level. The amount that believe that their kid can play at the next level is probably 3%. The amount that actually do play is probably 7-8%.
Yeah.
What I like about the platform myself is it really starts that dialogue with the parent and the kid, whether they play in college or not. It gets them thinking about college and then their future and what they want to do, and at least pursuing going, extending their education, even if it's not their athletics. That's one of the highlights for me. But again, we're not going to tell a parent, and that's the problem with the space. Is you've got too many people out there that simply prey on families, and they've got a couple email addresses at a university or a college, or they know one guy and they want to charge an outrageous fee to get them on an email list or get them introduced to one coach or one program. And we just chose consciously that we don't want to participate in that. We don't want to evaluate kids. We don't want to promise kids. We want to make a very affordable platform that if you just want to dip your toes in the water and see, do I have a chance to play at the next level? Is anybody looking at my profile? Are any coaches reaching out to me? Are they watching my pro day videos? Are they watching my interviews? That might give me an indication. Yes, maybe I can play at the next level. But the application has tools for every level of a kid. I don't care if they're a 5-star or no star. There are tools on there for every kid at every level. If he's a 5-star and he's just being recruited by 20 colleges, well, what if that kid's parent played at this university over here, but they've never reached out to them, or the place where he really wants to play has not contacted him. Or the high school coach is inundated with requests for transcripts, right? Which happens all the time, right? We house all their transcripts. It's just simply part of your resume in your profile. It's always on there live. So I think we have something to offer all kids, all families at a very affordable cost.
How do you all think through the change to name, image, and likeness with recruiting and your platform? Are you guys trying to get involved in that?
So right now, it's not at the forefront of what we do. There's a lot of uncertainty revolving high school kids right now. Once it gets to the college level, there's probably some opportunities for us in the future. We do have some relationships with some high profile athletes that promote our platform, but it's not at the forefront of what we do right now.
All right, and Andrew,
I think legally it's got to go through the challenges of what can we do with a high school kid.
Okay. And Andrew, as you guys have put this out there, give me some feedback. What are users saying to you that they like about it, and what do they want to see updated as you guys move forward?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback from the field, from the kids and the parent side has been really positive. Obviously, there's a lot of information to get through in order to complete a profile, but kids understand that. Like, they understand that this is information that finally somebody has told us what kind of information a college recruiter actually wants to see on me. It's not just my doing a windmill dunk on YouTube video that's my highlight reel, but now they get an idea of all these other bits of information, these meta pieces of information that a kid needs to show that a college recruiter absolutely wants to see. So we get a lot of really positive and great feedback around that, especially from the parents. The pro day video stuff, we see people just fall in love with it. The college recruiters love it. The kids love it because they're actually doing some pretty cool drills. We have them engaged in some pretty interesting activities. And again, full transparency now, this is exactly what a college recruiter would want to see you do at a combine that a kid may never have had knowledge of before this. And then the interview questions, I think we get a lot of really interesting feedback about. Sometimes kids like it, sometimes they don't. They don't like it, that final answer, but we hold pretty true to that. And we want a kid. There's no right or wrong answers to the interview questions, right? You just want to see how a kid responds, even if they freeze up. Okay, that's a good signal that this was a difficult question and this kid just needed more time, or he just froze up, or what have you. And the college recruiters really like that. The high school coaches, though, the feedback from them has just been tremendous. They love that we thought about them throughout this whole process. We built a pretty comprehensive set of tools for them. A lot of high school coaches get the tar beaten out of them by parents because the parents want to know, what are you doing for my son or my daughter or what have you to get them to the next level. And now a high school coach has the opportunity to show a parent exactly what it is they're doing to get their kid to the next level. So that's been just, the high school coaches have just been over the moon on it. The Coach Mons here at Saguaro High School has been a huge champion of ours. They just won the Arizona High School state championship. But he uses this tool daily. He loves it to promote it heavily for us because of just his ability to use it. And that's just been incredibly useful and great feedback from that standpoint. And then the college recruiters, it's the side-by-side is everything for them. That's potentially a tens of thousands of dollars application that they would need to license that we give to them as a part of just, that's being free. That's just part of using Spending Day Sports is you get some really cool, interesting pieces of functionality just for using our platform, our application. So, as we continue to build out, grow the numbers, get stronger and stronger with these profiles, with these athlete profiles and college recruiters coming on board more and more, we'll start to see a title shift, in terms of how recruiting is done in this space. To John's point, sort of diminishing those third-party folks that are kind of like these gatekeepers. That's just not fair. It's not fair to the kids that don't have the means to be able to be seen. They may not have the knowledge. They may not have an opportunity, time, or what have you. And now they do. And the more popular we get, the better it'll be for these college recruiting programs that may not have the means, and these kids that may just never even knew where to begin. So that feedback has just been super tremendous for us to validate and to hear across as we continue to move our numbers forward with the amount of profiles and colleges that we get on the platform.
To expand on that, Bram, it's one of the biggest endorsements we get is from the actual high school associations across the country. They have recognized over the past few years the need to eradicate some of that preying behavior on families that I discussed earlier, and to level that playing field across the board for all of the kids. So that we've got exclusive rights in the state of Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I believe 2 others, where we're the exclusive recruiting platform for those states for all sports, all athletics. So it's an answer for all parents, all kids to come to the same location and have the same abilities to self-promote and be found by all colleges across the country without that middleman charging outrageous fees.
John Dorsey is the CEO. Andrew Lampe is the CTO of Signing Day Sports. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, man.
On the next Future Sport podcast, the evolution of gaming continues.
Being able to distribute your products for free on mobile and getting people to play it and then have them start spending when they feel like it's worth it has actually worked out in our favor.
That's Mike Taramikin, CEO and co-founder of Hype Games, who has spent his career around building games, working with major brands, and now back to free-to-play models. His insight will showcase where the entire market is moving. That will do it for this episode. As always, the future is now. This is the Future Sport Podcast. I'm Bram Weinstein.